Welcome back. OpenAI's Sam Altman making some new comments over the weekend. Kate Rooney joins us with more. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Leslie. So OpenAI CEO saying that the AI revolution may take a little bit longer than expected. Sam Altman appeared on David Senra's podcast over the weekend. He said we're still at the Palm Pilot stage of adoption.
A lot of the technology was there. Like, it was missing multi-touch, but mostly it was missing like the product ideas that made the iPhone. And I feel like we are now in a world where we have all of the technological pieces, but we have not had the iPhone moment of like completely changing how someone interfaces with technology.
Altman went on to say that AI adoption has been slower than expected, and so has the economic disruption.
The economy just has so much inertia. People keep doing the same things they're doing. They keep buying from the same company. They keep sort of wanting to use their tools in the same way. I think that's actually a positive in many ways, and it's going to make this big transition in front of us go smoother and slower, and I'm grateful for it. But I think it means we've all been too ambitious on timelines, even with this incredible technology.
A couple of other headlines, guys. Altman said that compute right now is the biggest bottleneck. He said that is where he's spending the most time at OpenAI. Two of the biggest risks for AI that he outlined, he talked about a loss of control where AI gets too powerful, and then one company or one model ends up having too much power as well. He also said OpenAI wants to be a platform company and not actually compete with its customers. So maybe a sigh of relief there from some software names.
Well, Kate, what does that mean to be a platform company?
So basically, David, that they would be, it's called an API, but they would be behind the scenes powering other startups. The fear around OpenAI, Anthropic, and others is that they want to go what people call up the stack. They want to be the actual app and the interface with customers and say disrupt, a traditional software company, Altman, positioning OpenAI as, hey, we're going to work with everybody on the back end and sort of white label our technology. We don't necessarily want to build, every legal company, every software company, every cyber company, which is where a lot of the software sell-up and the SaaS apocalypse early this year that we talked about came from. Altman, though, strategically positioning that. He also wants to win over enterprises. So if you think about the reasoning behind saying that and messaging that is that, hey, you also need to make sure that enterprises feel comfortable working with you. So clearly some motivation there to frame it that way. But he also talked about, ditching some strategic projects and some important projects. He talked about the power loss, or when you think about the venture capital mindset of sticking with the biggest, or one of the biggest bets paying off. He said, we ditched Sora, for example, because it was taking up too much compute. That was the video generation side of it. So got a little bit of his thinking behind OpenAI, but he still very much thinks like an investor in a lot of ways. Yeah,
it's interesting hearing him talk about the centralization of power, though. But yet, wouldn't open source be one of the answers to that as well?
It's interesting, David. That would be the obvious answer to that would be cheaper options out of China. And he's sort of danced around that. They didn't talk about open source in particular, but he did take some sort of veiled attacks at Anthropic. He talked about this caricature of, AI power being in the hands of, I think he said, he sort of described it as this fiefdom, said, I think he used the word bequeath, but, we're going to bequeath the AI on our, he didn't use the word peasants, but you know what I mean. He used this sort of analogy, this Renaissance analogy of AI companies controlling a lot of the power, doing amazing things like curing diseases, but at the same time, meaning that the average person gets a lot less control, and sort of use this maybe overstatement of caricature of AI. He didn't mention Anthropic specifically, but a lot of people are picking up on that, saying, he's probably taking a dig at his biggest competitor there.
Yeah, there's no shortage of digs at Dario and Anthropic, are there?
Very subtle. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. The two biggest companies, when they talk about a competitor, it's usually Anthropic.
Yeah, it is. Kate, thank you.